good. How are you guys doing?
Fab.
Yes.
Very fast.
Just arrange myself.
Did you guys all get to see the panel?
Yep.
Yeah.
We were very excited by that trailer.
I know. I love the footage that you showed. It's really beautiful.
That clip. I know. I love that moment.
So I love Amos and Naomi's relationship, and I was really stressed last season because they were, working through some stuff. Can you tease anything about what their dynamic might look like in the new season?
It makes a little change. They're not not sure they'll ever be how they were because of the break of trust. And that also switches something in Amos's psyche. But they do go through some quite... I don't know how to explain it. Difficult, but then quite lovely as the way it affects them, and just what you see, the little nods to their relationship from before. That's really cryptic, but I'm trying to not say it.
Cool.
So yeah.
Cool.
It's kind of hard to keep Amos static because he has such a huge evolution compared to the rest of us. His emotional
Season
journey
4.
is massive because he's going from this very, very broken person that's healing. He can never really go back to that state, So he's got the most distance to travel of all of us.
And that's one of the things that I loved about your character in season 3 is we finally were getting a little bit more in the layers we're peeling back.
Yeah.
Is that going to continue?
I agree with you. I noticed that too. Alex, it's funny because Alex is seemingly the most kind of chill, relaxed, adjusted, kind of normal guy. But over 3 seasons, he's the one you find the least. He's the most mysterious in terms of his backstory. And you just start to get a nice hint of it in season 3. You meet his family, and then you realize how much tension that family was under and what he's been going through. And it seems like it's resolved at the end of season 3, but he's not a settled emotional soul when it comes to family, and so he doesn't have his closure. He doesn't deal well with having someone in his life that he has caused hurt and grief, pain to. So even if he thinks he may have settled it in season 3, season 4, he still needs to deal with that, and it does get re-explored.
Where do you see your characters' story arcs going moving forward from where they've come from at the beginning?
Anytime I guess, I'm always wrong. Every time the writers put stuff down, and I'm like, damn, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, same. But I have a desire to break Naomi down a little bit. I don't think we've ever truly seen her in a state of complete devastation. And me as an actor, I kind of want to get my chops into that for her, because she's obviously, I feel there's strength in vulnerability, so I don't think seeing her vulnerable has ever led to the idea that she's not as strong as she is. So I would like to do something, or to have something that challenges her strength, because I think that's really interesting, and see her maybe how that would bring her back and shape her into a different version of Naomi. So I have a little actory desire to, because I've been with her for so long now, to explore that aspect of her and what that may look like. So that's what I would like. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I want to break her into pieces a bit.
I agree with you. I think that's great. Alex, the interesting thing about Alex is, again, he looks like he's all calm water, but if you think about the chronology of it, he left his family a couple of years probably when the Canterbury stuff started in season 1, and then we went on an adventure and he got blown up, and it's probably been 5 years since he's been in any kind of relationship. whatsoever. He has no relationships. He has the family friendships, but none of those friendships are intimately close. He was starting one with Amos, but Amos is his own person. and then Amos went to Prax, and then Amos went away, and so Alex has the Rossi. That's the only real relationship that he has that he's comfortable in. And I think he is that way because he's not comfortable getting that intimate with a human being yet. And so I think that is something that needs to be
Exploring his
explored.
intimacy a bit more.
Like, what does a man do in space when? Because he's not Amos. Amos will go on a bender. Amos will go and
See where you're going with this question, and it's problematic.
I could throw out a few guesses.
No, but I'm just saying.
What does a man do with his spare time in space when he's on his
What
own?
do
on a
people
space?
do? What do people do when they have no
Masturbate.
ability? But what about the intimacy? What about the emotional intimacy?
And I agree.
And like I said, he's not Amos. He doesn't go to a brothel.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Go drinking. No, but that's not Alex. Like,
I know. I'm just.
so
Great answer.
I think he's bursting at the seams
Yeah, I think you're
to
right.
connect.
I'd like to see that.
Somehow with another human being. And I don't think he'd really know how to handle it.
The Expanse has always felt like a really international show, but now because it's on Amazon, it actually will have this huge scope that it didn't before. I'm curious how that changes maybe your perspective on the story, and also how, I know you were all recently in Europe promoting the show, like what those interactions were with, and how maybe other fandoms around the world engage with the show, if it's similar, different. Yeah, just any sort of observation.
I am very excited about the fact that we're on Amazon, because this is a global show and it's very allegorical, and I think not only do people see themselves in the characters, but they see themselves in the situations that the characters find themselves in, but as I say, in an allegorical way, because we haven't colonised space yet. But I just want it to go further. I wonder if the little kids that grew up, how a lot of us grew up on the show, have seen it yet. I don't know if they have. And I don't know what it would do for them. I hope it would empower them, and I'm really interested in that. And I'm interested in using the show as a vehicle for that, actually. Not only for it to be seen as art, but maybe we can use it as some kind of vehicle for outreach in the communities that we represent, because I don't really see the point of it otherwise. So I think we're going to start working on that. But yeah, I'm really excited that we are now with somebody who has the kind of weight that Amazon does, because I think this show is worthy of that in what it represents across the board. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
I love how because I visited Dominique in London, and I took note of how multicultural it is in London, and how surprised I was at how it's just normal there, as opposed to in Canada or in the United States, where it's special when there's a lot of representation and you have an Indian person or a Middle Eastern doing this kind of job, or you have a woman doing this job, and it's like, oh wow, it's so notable. And in London, that's like, well, yeah, that's the world, and that's how we treat each other. And I was like, that's really cool. And that type of attitude needs to be put into a show, which I think we're doing, and then just plastered all over the planet so that we can all see. And I said it in the panel, we have to be able to see ourselves either as people of color or as women of color, on camera, on screen, doing amazing, powerful things, because
and also that being seen.
That's what I was just going to say.
That's what Sheree said.
Because you
well.
said this at a panel once, at a diversity panel, where it's not just as important for the kids of color and the women of color and the people of color to see themselves. It's also equally important for the people who are not of color to see these people in those positions, so that they can go, that's normal.
It's a rewiring of thought and brain function, and that's what that kind of thing does, whether you know it or not. It's subconscious and subliminal,
and if you really entertain people,
works.
if you really entertain people with amazing stories and visceral,
very serious conversation. Daniel,
talking about your work here.
Can I sit in your lap?
Anytime. But if you really entertain people, like I had an acting teacher tell me in the beginning of my career, he says you grab an audience by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow. And I feel like, and I don't mean that to be
I like that.
misogynistic, I hope it isn't.
No, we spoke about masturbation and now this is great.
But
It's been a lively discussion.
Very important thing.
I'm saying if you give them an amazing story, everything that's part of that story becomes palatable. And that's what I think we do. I think we give incredible visual stories.
And we must go forth
Let's go.
into the unknown. Thank you.